Before I begin, I want to come clean. I have 3 confessions to make. Number 1, when I introduce myself to white folks, I get a kick out of it. Well, let me tell you why. Usually the conversation goes something like, "Hi, my name is Javier. It's very nice to meet you." And they will respond something like, "Hello, my name is so-and-so," Cameron probably. And they will say, "Wow, Javier, where are you from, man?" Thinking that I'm going to tell him or her an exotic place far, far away where they can vacation. And I respond, "I'm from Cranston, Rhode Island." To their disappointment, and looking at their disappointing face is priceless to me, and I get a kick out of it. I'm sorry. Confession number 2. The movie In Time, featuring Justin Timberlake, is one of my favorite movies of all time. I was thinking to myself while watching the movie, like, wow, the concept of people having this time clock in their inner arm and the clock timing down to 0, and then you automatically collide and die. I know, it's really dark. On September 5th, the Trump administration and Jeff Sessions rescinded the DACA program, which put a time clock on 800,000 people across the United States. My 3rd confession, I am a DACA recipient myself. For those who know me and didn't know that about me, surprise. For those who don't know what the program is, it stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, and it was made for people like myself who were brought here when they were children. It was signed on by President Obama in 2012 through an executive order with obviously requirements. First requirement was that you had to be in the country before you were 16. Second, that you had to hold a high school diploma or a GED. Third requirement was that you had to have a clean background, no criminal records. I was one of those people. And this program gave you a piece of paper. This piece of paper was a work authorization that you can renew for 2 years. Now, I tell you that story about my introduction is because I feel like a true Rhode Islander. I graduated from Edgewood Elementary School. I went to Parkview Middle School. I went to Cranston High School East. I graduated from the Community College of Rhode Island. I went to Rhode Island College. I now go to Brown University. I'm such a Rhode Islander that I hate driving more than 30 minutes to get somewhere. I can tell you where to get the best Italian grinder in the state. Dee's Deli. If you haven't had it, you're not living. But yeah, so I truly feel like a Rhode Islander, and I don't need a piece of paper to tell me that I'm not. Before 2012, I was just a regular kid. This picture is actually the first time I stepped into Rhode Island, and this is the first time where I understood my realities. I knew that I was in a foreign place, but I was with my family, and I was ready, to make it happen. What this picture doesn't tell you is that 4 days before this picture was taken, I was stranded in the middle of Juarez, the most dangerous city in the world, surrounded by drug dealers, prostitutes, gang members, kidnappers. I was trying to cross the border. If you want to get that story out of me, you might have to buy me a couple beers. But for the sake of time, my father and I made it over the border very safely, and our journey began. From New Mexico to Providence in one Greyhound bus, one trip. The trip was around 5 days, and it's funny, this picture that I dug up from my closet, it has a caption in the back, and that caption says, from my father, Javier Sr., "I hate McDonald's." all the bus stops stop at McDonald's. My dad, from that day on, hated burgers, hated it. As I went through the education system here in Rhode Island, I understood that my path was going to be a little bit different. My undocumentedness didn't really set in into my senior year of high school, where people were applying to college and looking for jobs. I knew that I had to be different, and seeing how I couldn't drive, seeing how I couldn't obviously I couldn't get a license or I couldn't work, I had to take things into my own hands and start getting creative. I started working under the table gigs. I did some construction work. I worked at this beautiful food truck. The ironic thing about this food truck is that I couldn't even drive it. So I was just the cook, and that's the best part of it, right? But I saved enough money for me to go back to college because I knew that education was the one thing that was going to raise my family from the financial burden that we have as first generation. And I was able to do that. I went to community college in Rhode Island, I graduated, and I got an associate's degree in general studies with a path to Rhode Island College. And this is all great, but how was I going to save up more money to go and graduate from Rhode Island College? So I had to drop out and go back to the food truck. After 2012 happened, obviously it was a game changer. This presidential executive order was built exactly for me. And I was the first person that got in line and got my paperwork, my piece of paper. With that piece of paper, I ran to the DMV, got my driver's license. I got it at 23 when I should have gotten it at 16. I put on a suit and I went to my first interview where I got the job at this mortgage company in Middletown called Linear. This company had a 401k, insurance, a good paying salary, sick days, vacation days, things that I had never had in my life. And it was great. I moved on to my next job in the medical field, from Fresenius Medical Care, providing dialysis to those who had 5-stage kidney disease. And that job was actually very eye-opening. It was like, wow, these people need help. I'm glad to be part of this. In those 4 years, I was able to save enough money to return to Rhode Island College and pay for my tuition. And I'm very proud to say that I graduated May of this year and became the first person in my family, and my family tree, nevertheless, to graduate from a 4-year institution. So, although this piece of paper changed my life, and legislation comes and goes, executive orders come and go, the one thing that's constant in my life is the support of my parents. This is a picture of me in kindergarten, looking all dapper, a picture when I graduated high school, a picture when I graduated community college, and a picture when I graduated Rhode Island College. Next year, we will have a picture when I graduate from an Ivy League institution. However, now that this program is ended, congressmen and senators are trying to explain that this was not my fault because I was a child and I had no say on my parents bringing me. And they're putting the blame on my parents. And I completely disagree with that. They are the original dreamers. I am a result of their sacrifice. And if anyone's going to blame anyone, let's blame Congress. If this is so important, this is a top priority, we have a time clock right now to go and make this change for these people and maybe bring them back into the fold, right? My dream began in this Greyhound bus. half a mile away from this building, over there by the Dunkin' Donuts Center. Back then was the convention center. But also, my reality began, right? I knew that I was brought here and I had a purpose. The purpose to bring my community up from poverty, my family up in the American social ladder, and help those who feel the same way along the way. Now, obviously, my dreams are becoming real. However, people think that, wow, you've done so many things. You should be happy. I am happy, but that's not the end for me. I have even bigger dreams. My dream is to go to law school and become an attorney. And not just any mediocre law school. I want to go to Harvard or Yale or Stanford, because I know that after I get one of those degrees, I'm going to be able to put real change into this broken immigration system. We're striving for this utopian future where everyone gets along and immigration is not an issue. And we want to help everyone. At least that's what I've seen you folks here. However, I have also seen the hatred, the malice that these people now feel that they have the power to do, right? To come out of the shadows and call me illegal, that I shouldn't be here, that I don't pay taxes, that I should be happy that I'm getting this piece of paper. And I just want to clear some misconceptions. I do pay taxes. I wish I had a picture of my income tax up there, but I mean, if Donald Trump can't do it, why should I? I have been trying to contribute to my hometown, to my state, and to my country ever since I stepped foot on that Greyhound bus. Because my community has shaped me to be a presentable man and a person to not let obstacles ruin my dreams. All my friends, although mostly white, they're hustlers. They're go-getters. I learn from them. I'm not going to let one piece of paper hold me back of what I really want to do. And although this program is over, I stand with you today to raise awareness for those people. And I ask you to stand in solidarity with those 800,000 people and those 11 million people that are also being ignored right now. Today, you will hear people speak about remembering the past, taking action in the present for a utopian future that we all want to see. After listening to my story and understanding how it has impacted my life and other 800,000 people, I ask you, when does this futuristic, utopian place start? Does it begin after I leave this red carpet? Does it begin when you leave this building? When does this utopian future that we're working so hard for begin? Thank you.